You ever close a chapter of your life and then realize later you shut the book too early? That was me with her. Her name was Natalie. We went to the same high school in a nowhere town in Indiana. You know the kind. Football on Fridays, tractors in the parking lot, same 20 kids in every class. I don't remember half the teachers' names, but I remember her. Always her. Long dark hair, quick to laugh, always had a book in her hands. Smart, but not in that annoying way. Just bright, like she was built from a better kind of light. I liked her all 4 years, but never said anything. Just one of those quiet crushes you carry around like a folded note you never pass. We were friends, kind of. Same English class. Talked sometimes in the library. She dated this guy Jake for a while. Baseball, Letterman jacket, all that. I hated him in that way you hate people you're jealous of. After graduation, most people drifted off. Some went to college, some stuck around. I ended up working for my uncle's plumbing business. Never left town, paid the bills. Then one day, maybe 2 years after high school, I saw her at the gas station. She smiled and said my name like it mattered. We talked for 20 minutes in the parking lot. Turned out she was back from college for the summer. Single. I asked if she wanted to grab a drink sometime. She said yes. That's how it started. We weren't fast, not right away. A few dates, then more. Eventually, we were just together. No label, not at first, but I was proud. I used to stare at her across the diner table and think, I can't believe she's with me. I worked a lot. Early mornings, long days, the kind of tired you carry in your bones. But she made it better. Left notes in my lunch sometimes, showed up at the house with dinner. Nothing fancy, just thoughtful. I tried to do the same. Brought her coffee, picked her up from work when her car broke down. We had our rhythms. But one Thursday night, I came home late from a job and she wasn't there. Lights off, no note, no missed calls. I called her cell. Nothing. Called again. Still nothing. I waited until midnight. Then 2 a.m., I barely slept. Thought maybe something bad happened. Wreck or worse. Next morning, I got up early, heart racing. Called her parents. They hadn't seen her. Said she hadn't mentioned any plans. I told them I was going to the police. Something felt wrong. I was grabbing my keys when the front door opened. She walked in like nothing was wrong. Still wearing the same clothes as yesterday. And from the doorway, she said, "We're done." Just like that. No explanation. No tears. She went to the bedroom, packed her things in silence. I stood in the kitchen, trying to catch up. Then a car pulled up outside. Some guy was driving. She walked out, carrying 2 bags. He got out, opened the trunk. They kissed. Right there on the street. Then she got in, and they drove off. I didn't follow. I just stood there. Later, I found out she'd been cheating the whole time. That guy, she'd been seeing him for months. She was with me because I made things easy. Steady money, always there, no questions. And I never saw it coming. After she left, I sat on the couch for what felt like hours. Didn't move, didn't cry. Just sat there with that sick feeling in my stomach, like I'd been kicked. You know that kind of silence that rings? That's what the house sounded like. Her stuff was gone by noon. Clothes, books, toothbrush. She left the mug she always used, though, the one with the chipped handle she liked for tea. I stared at it for days, just sitting there in the sink like it was waiting for her. I didn't go to the police like I planned. Didn't need to. She wasn't missing. She was done. I tried calling her once that weekend. Just once. Straight to voicemail. I left a message, just said, "I don't get it, but I hope you're okay." That was it. I deleted her number after that. Figured, what's the point? I went to work like normal on Monday. Didn't say anything to anyone. Just crawled under sinks and replaced valves. My boss asked if I was sick. I said no. He didn't push it. Nights were the worst. I kept expecting the door to open. Kept hearing phantom footsteps on the porch. One time I swore I smelled her perfume in the hallway and sat on the floor like a fool, thinking maybe she came back. I started hearing stories after that. Small town stuff. My buddy at the gas station said he saw her at Applebee's with that same guy, hanging off his arm like they'd been married for years. Another friend said she'd been talking bad about me, saying I was boring, predictable, like a backup plan. Turns out I was the safe guy, the one who paid for dinner and didn't ask too many questions. She used me until she didn't need to anymore. And it hurt. God, it hurt. Not just the betrayal, it was the trust. I really believed we had something real. That kind of belief doesn't die quiet. It goes out kicking and screaming. For a while, I tried to fix myself, clean the house, deleted old photos, even boxed up a few things to donate. But everywhere I looked, there she was. The blanket she liked, the playlist she made, a receipt from that road trip we took last fall. I didn't have a closure moment. No big fight, no sit-down talk. She left, and that was it. No chance to ask why, no answers. Some nights I'd drive around town with the windows down, just letting the air hit my face, trying to feel something besides that low ache in my chest. I'd pull into the diner we used to go to, sit in the parking lot, then leave. Couldn't bring myself to go in. One night, about a month after she left, I ran into her mom at the grocery store. She looked at me with this sad kind of pity, said, "I'm sorry about how it all went down." I said, "Yeah, me too." She told me Natalie was moving out of state, said the guy got a new job and they were starting fresh. I nodded, didn't say anything else. She patted my arm and said, "You deserved better." And maybe I did, but that didn't change anything. Funny how someone can go from your whole world to just a missing person in your day-to-day. No trace, no message, just gone. After her mom told me they were moving, I stopped checking social media, blocked her name, deleted all the old messages. But every once in a while, I'd catch a post from a mutual friend, some smiling group photo, and there she'd be, right in the middle, looking happy. It didn't make me mad, just hollow. I started sleeping on the couch. Couldn't be in our bedroom, not with her side of the bed cold and untouched. Some nights I didn't sleep at all, just sat with the TV on low, watching reruns of shows we used to laugh at together, now just background noise. One night, about 2 months after she left, I got a text from an unknown number. I didn't mean for it to happen like that. I stared at it for 20 minutes, didn't reply, didn't even save the number. Just deleted it. What was there to say? I'd already picked through the wreckage, already knew she'd been lying to me the whole time we were together. I was the steady one, the wallet, the warm place to land while she figured out her next move. And I hated myself for not seeing it. I hated that I'd believed her when she said she loved me. I started working longer hours, volunteered for jobs I didn't have to take, Saturdays, Sundays, anything to stay busy. At least at work, things made sense. Pipes leaked, I fixed them. Simple. Nights were still bad, though. Loneliest kind of dark. One weekend, I drove out to the lake we used to go to in the summer. Sat in the truck with the windows down and stared at the water. Didn't cry, just sat there. It felt like I was trying to remember who I was before her. That's when I met Claire. She pulled up beside me in an old Jeep, fishing pole in the back, looked over and said, "You're in my spot." I laughed. First real laugh in months. She shrugged, smiled, and parked anyway. Walked down to the shore and cast a line like she owned the place. We talked a little, just surface stuff, weather, fishing. She said she came out every Sunday to clear her head. I didn't tell her anything about Natalie, didn't tell her I was barely holding it together, but the next Sunday I showed up again. So did she. For a while, that's all it was. Two people by the water not saying much. Then one day she brought coffee. The next week I brought donuts. It wasn't fast, it wasn't fireworks, but it was quiet. And I needed quiet. Claire didn't ask questions, not at first. Just let me be there, and that was enough. She had this calm way about her, like someone who'd seen her share of storms but didn't brag about it. She taught at the local middle school, drove the same Jeep she bought after college, and had a dog named Rufus who hated squirrels and loved cheese. Every Sunday we met at the lake, sat on the tailgate of her Jeep or mine, depending on who got there first. We didn't always talk, but it never felt weird. She had a way of being next to you that made silence feel like company instead of a gap. After a few weeks, she asked, "So what's your story?" I thought about lying, just brushing it off, but I didn't. Told her about Natalie. The whole thing. She didn't flinch, didn't judge, just nodded and said, "Sounds like you gave more than she did." It was the first time someone said it that plain. We started texting during the week. Just short things. Pictures of Rufus, bad jokes, memes. I'd send her updates from jobs I was on. Broken water heaters, raccoons in attics. She'd always reply. One Friday she said, "Want to do something that's not the lake?" I said, "Sure." We went to a little burger joint outside of town. Nothing fancy. Sat in a booth near the window. Talked for 2 hours like it was nothing. That's when I noticed it. The hook. The thing that got me. I wasn't thinking about Natalie. Not the whole night. Not once. Claire wasn't trying to fix me. She wasn't trying to be better than Natalie. She was just herself. And I felt normal. Not happy, not sad, just steady. And that felt like a miracle. After that, we started seeing each other more. Thursday dinners, Sunday lake days. One night after I fixed her kitchen sink, she kissed me. It was slow, careful, like she knew I was still fragile. And I was. But that kiss made something shift. I started sleeping in my bed again. Stopped waiting for Natalie to walk through the door. Even Rufus warmed up to me. I wasn't fixed, but I wasn't broken anymore either. It's strange how you can rebuild a life without even noticing. One little piece at a time, like laying bricks without knowing what the building is supposed to be. That was me and Claire. No big plans, no declarations, just slow steps in the right direction. By fall, I had a key to her place, kept a change of clothes in her dresser. Rufus stopped barking every time I came over. We'd cook together. Nothing fancy, mostly pasta or frozen stuff. She hated doing dishes, so I always did them. I still thought about Natalie sometimes. Not in a longing way. More like when you touch a scar and remember how you got it. Still there. Just dull now. Claire never pushed me to talk about her. When I did, she listened. Sometimes nodded, sometimes didn't say anything. That helped more than any advice ever could. One night we were watching some old movie on the couch, and I realized I hadn't thought about the pain in days. Like it wasn't even part of me anymore. That hit hard. I turned to Claire and said, "I think I'm okay." She smiled. "Took you long enough." It was the kind of moment you don't frame or write down. Just a quiet truth between two people sitting close. I won't say it was all perfect. There were nights I still woke up from old dreams. Still had that gut punch feeling some mornings when I saw something that reminded me of Natalie. But it faded quicker every time. Work was steady. I'd picked up more clients. Word got around I was dependable, even if I didn't say much. That suited me fine. I stopped checking Natalie's socials completely, blocked anyone who kept tagging her and stuff. It wasn't anger, just peace. I didn't need to see her life to know I wasn't supposed to be part of it anymore. Thanksgiving came. Claire invited me to her parents' place. I was nervous. Last time I'd met a girlfriend's parents, I thought it was forever. This time I kept it simple. Brought a pie, wore a decent shirt. Didn't try too hard. Her dad pulled me aside after dinner, said, "She smiles more since you came around." That stuck with me. Later that night, Claire fell asleep on the couch, curled up with Rufus. I sat there in the dark, watching her breathe, and I realized I didn't feel like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. The world didn't end. It just changed, and I was still here. By the new year, everything just felt normal. Not in the boring way, in the safe way. I'd wake up with Claire next to me most mornings, Rufus snoring at the foot of the bed. We'd make coffee, take turns walking the dog, talk about little things, her students, my clients, what groceries we were low on. That kind of life, small, steady, and somehow exactly what I needed. I started noticing things I hadn't before, like how Claire always tapped her mug twice before sipping, or how she hummed the same off-key tune when she was nervous. They weren't big things, but they were hers, and I loved them. One night, after a long day, I came home to find she'd made chili and had a six-pack of my favorite beer on the counter. No reason, she said. Just figured you'd be tired. That kind of thoughtfulness, that quiet love. I didn't know how much I'd missed it until it showed up again. I told her I loved her not long after that. We were sitting on the couch, some movie playing in the background. I just said it, plain as day. She looked at me for a second, then said, "Took you long enough." Same words she'd used months ago. We both laughed. I meant it. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't second guess it. I didn't wonder if I was just trying to fill a hole. I wasn't chasing some ghost. I wasn't comparing her to someone else. I was just in it, all the way. Claire never asked me for promises, but I started making them anyway. Small ones like picking up milk or being home for dinner, and big ones like, "I'm not going anywhere." That last one scared me a little, but it felt good to say. Work kept me busy, but not overwhelmed. I had enough to pay the bills and save a little. I even started planning things again. Weekend trips, maybe a vacation. Stuff I'd stopped dreaming about for a long time. One day I got a message from a mutual friend. Said Natalie had gotten married. I read it, shrugged, and moved on. No twist in my gut, no anger. Just a fact. That's how I knew I was really done with that part of my life. She was a chapter, but not the whole book. Claire and I didn't make big plans. No talks of rings or moving or anything like that. We just lived, day by day. But sometimes I'd catch her looking at me with this soft kind of expression, like she saw all of me, the broken parts, the healing ones, and didn't flinch. And I thought, maybe this is how it's supposed to be. Not a rescue, just two people who found each other after the storm. It's been 2 years since Natalie walked out that door. Sometimes I think about how close I was to breaking for good, how easy it would have been to stay bitter, to let the worst night of my life define every day after it. But I didn't. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't come with some big revelation. Just little choices. Getting out of bed, going to work, showing up at the lake, talking to Claire when I could have just kept driving. That's what saved me. Claire never made promises she couldn't keep. She didn't try to fix what happened before her. She just showed up, again and again. And somewhere along the way, I learned how to show up too. We're still together, still in that same rhythm. Weekday dinners, weekend coffee runs, occasional road trips when we can swing it. Nothing flashy, just real. I've got a savings account now, a dog that tolerates me, a truck that still leaks oil but starts every morning. I even picked up woodworking again, something I hadn't touched since high school shop class. Built Claire a bookshelf. It's crooked, but she says it's perfect. Sometimes I wonder what I'd say to Natalie if I saw her again. Not much, probably. Maybe just, "I hope you're good." And I'd mean it, because here's the truth. I don't hate her, not anymore. She made a choice, and it hurt like hell. But if she hadn't left, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have met Claire, wouldn't have found out what I was made of when everything fell apart. And I like who I am now. Not perfect, not always happy, but real. Still working, still waking up beside someone who gets me, still making dinner and walking the dog and fixing what breaks. And if that's not a happy ending, it's close enough for me.